Today I'm doing Matisse's The Cat with Red Fish. I just love this painting. I've done it before. It's just so much fun, and it's really pretty simple. Make the outline out of a micron pen, and then just color in the colors. It's really a lot of fun. And so I'm going to do this original one the way Matisse did, and then I've created other outlines as well. This is my cat Fluffy. She likes green yarn. This is Swamp Kitten, the kitten that I helped to find a home and fed him throughout the winter at the swamp that's nearby, and he's looking for a home. Thank goodness he found one. And then this is Cucumber, and she likes art supplies, so that's why I put the brushes in the tubes of paint. And this is Milkshake, and she likes tuna. So I'm going to be doing all 5 of these at the same time. I figure, why not just mix up a bunch of paint and go from painting to painting. Before we get started painting, I want to talk about my palette setup here. I've got these little tapas dishes, little appetizer ceramic dishes that are just perfect for mixing up large puddles of paint to paint in. And when I am finished with the project or letting it dry, I can crisscross them and stack them up, and they're out of the way. I also set them up on something to elevate one end so that all the paint is pooled to the bottom. So it's very easy to get in here and take your brush and just get a big old pile of paint on your brush and get ready to paint. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to start by putting in a lot of the red here. Wherever I see reddish and orange, I'm going to add that first. So I've got some, let's see, this is Pyrrole Red over here, and this is Scarlet Lake. I think I'll start with Scarlet Lake and do the background on this side. And what I'm going to do is, you see in the original, there's a little white border around most of these things. I'm going to go pretty close to the black line, but try not to touch the black lines so that I can leave that little bit of white left. And if I miss it and mess up and it's really bad, I've got a white gel pen that I can use to fix that. I'm not being perfect here. I don't have to be, and you don't either. Just have some fun with it. It's such a pretty color. I'm using this Escoda Perla brush. You have a lot of control with this because it's not too soggy and it's not too stiff, and it holds a pretty good amount of water. Has a really good point. I almost mixed up enough. Well, actually, I think I did mix up enough for this one section. Oh, that's so pretty and bright. Now I'm going to go around and put some of this Scarlet Lake in areas where I see that it is in this painting, or where I think it should be. So just some of these little dots. I extended the painting a little bit on either side, as you can see. I made it go out further over here so that I could find a standard mat for this. Custom mats are kind of expensive. So there's a few over here, little dots, little red dots. And then we have the fish. So with the fish, I'm going to use a little Quin Gold on kind of the top of each one, and then finish it with this Scarlet Lake. Got a piece of fuzz on that. And let it just blend. And I'm going to drop just a tad of this Perylene Maroon. It's a very, very dark maroonish color just at the bottom. Hope I don't put too much on here. Just a little bit. There, I'll just let that kind of go where it wants to go. That Perylene Maroon is also what I'm going to use to paint this, block this color in. And this is obviously a darker or a more bold line than what I've got here. At the end, I can come in with either some Payne's Gray or come back with a Micron pen. And this should be dry enough. And if it bleeds some, I'm okay. It is watercolor. It can look like watercolor. love this color. And there's cat hair on here. It wouldn't be a painting if I didn't have to fight off the cat hair from Cucumber. And since I extended the painting down further so that it would fit the frame, this section right here is actually not in the original painting, but it's in my painting. Okay, a couple of dots over here. I'm going to add this Perylene Maroon. And then this little H right here, which is probably the shutter of a window, I'm going to paint that with this same color. I'm going to turn it upside down to do that, so it's easier to get to. And this little part right here is this color also. I missed that red part right there. I'll have to go back and add that in, because that's part of that. Okay, I think that's everywhere this color is. Now I'm going to put this aside and work on the others. And y'all thought I was going to make you watch me do all 4 of those other paintings in real time. That would be cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, so I'm back to this one, and I want to add the red that I missed, the Scarlet Lake that I missed before. And then this section over here is actually that Perylene Maroon as well. This is a bit lighter than what I used down here, but that's okay. Okay, back to the little paintings. For these sections here, here, and here, and this little mountain in the background, I'm going to first put some Quin Gold, and then drop in some of this Scarlet Lake, and then take some pretty concentrated of this Perylene Maroon and just kind of drop it in like that, and just let it spread, blend, whatever it wants to do. It'd be nice if you could see the section I'm talking about. I'm talking about this section, these 2 up here, and this down here. So this is the Quin Gold. And while it's still wet, I'm just going to grab some of this Scarlet Lake. And then while that's still wet, I'm just going to drop in some of the Perylene Maroon. And just let it dry however it wants to dry. Same thing down here. Quin Gold. I just love Quin Gold. To me, it's like butter. It makes everything better. While that's wet, drop in some of this Scarlet Lake. And then some of this Perylene Maroon. I'm going to do the same thing, this little corner down here. mix up some more Quin Gold. Some of the Scarlet Lake. And then the Perylene Maroon. Now off to do the little ones. I messed up. So this section right here should actually be this kind of bright yellow. And I went ahead and put the Perylene Maroon on there. But that's okay. I'm just going to take some of my yellow. The yellow's kind of opaque. So I'm just going to go over it. And this needs to be darker down here, so I'm going to do another layer of the Perylene Maroon over that. See, it's pretty opaque there. It looks more like the Quin Gold, but that's okay. We're not going to stress about it. Okay, so let's work on this grass and this hill and the sky. Work on the sky first. I've got some cerulean blue here. And this blue is actually, this light blue is on every one of these little hearts or doodads, whatever they are over there. So I'm going to put some blue over here, the cerulean. I'm going to put some over here. I'm going to drop in some where it should be around here. I'm going to be adding some dark blue on these, on the print, on the wallpaper as well. But it looks like it has like an underpainting of this lighter blue. And as you see, I'm just dabbing. I'm not being OCD about it. Then I'm going to fill in some of these spots over here. And then these things, I think they're flowers. I'm not quite sure what they are. They have kind of a blue around each of the dark areas, so I'm just going to work on that. And it doesn't really matter what you do here. This is not the focal point. This is the focal point. This is just extra. Since I messed this, not it mess up, I don't want to call it that. Since I didn't copy it, the color exactly, I'm just going to do this over here as well. So I'm going to go with the Perylene Maroon first. And when it dries, I'll just add a layer of that yellow, just to make it consistent. Okay, I'm going to start working on the fishbowl here. So I'm just going to start with some sap green. I'm going to try to leave a little outline of the white paper around the fish. I may drop in some yellow here and there, obviously, some blue. I'm just going to do it my way. I'm going to wet it first, since I'm going to be dropping in all kinds of colors here. I thought I would wet it first. As long as there is a sheen on the paper, I can drop paint in it without causing any issues. And I've got some cad yellow light over here. Some sap green, I've got some cerulean blue, I've got ultramarine blue. So I'm going to let that sit for a few more seconds and let it kind of work itself into the paper, absorb it. Like I said, as long as there's a sheen, I can mess with it. dropping a little bit more green on the bottom here because it's a little darker here. It's a little darker right along in here. Now I'm going to work on some of this yellow, dropping in some of this yellow. It's going to mix with the green. Looks like there's yellow around the fish. I've got some shadow green here. I wanted a little darker values here. A little darker green. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. I think it's time to play with some blue. Ultramarine. This is just so much fun. For the water line, I'm going to kind of take a dry brush and make sure I do have indication that there is a water line here. It should be a line or a difference of this and this. Dropping a little bit more green up here. I'm getting to the point where I'm about to have to stop with this because it's getting a little dry. Oh, that's so pretty. Do a little bit of yellow around this fish. Happy fish. See if I can lift up some up here. This needs to be lighter. I'm just taking a dry brush and just wiping it off. Okay, I think that's good. It's so pretty. I just love the fish color. It's really pretty. Kind of went over the lines here. See if I can get some of that up. I'm being too picky. It doesn't matter, Diane. Just back away. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's paint some fruit here. So I'm assuming these are lemons. I'm not sure. I'm calling them lemons. Maybe an orange here. Grab some Scarlet Lake, and now I've added some of that cad yellow to it, or lemon yellow, I'm sorry. I'm going to add a little of the Quin Gold to the bottom side of these lemons, just for a little shadow effect. Doesn't really have that on the original, but I want to add it. It'll give it some texture here and make it look kind of like lemon peel. Do the same with the Scarlet Lake here, just a little bit, just because I can't help myself. Nobody is here to slap my hand and tell me to move away, so I'm going to fiddle. Okay, I'm going to fill in some of the colors over here. We've got some green. I'm not really looking at the photograph. I'm just filling in some of this space. Let's get some yellow going. Some darker blue. I'm just filling in some of the spots here. Get some of this not cad red, the Scarlet Lake. Okay, so let's work on these designs on the wallpaper over here. I put the cerulean there first, and now I'm going to add this darker, this is called royal blue. You could use indigo, Prussian blue, really any darker blue. Phthalo blue. I just happen to have this royal blue, and it's a real pretty color. It's real pretty. So I'm just going to just kind of make some marks here. Making sure I leave some white. Okay, now to the little kitties. The next thing I'm going to do is add these darks here. I've got some neutral tint mixed with some royal blue, ultramarine blue. I'm not quite sure what all blues in there. And I'm just going to make these little dabs over here. And then I'm going to paint the table. And for the table or stool, I'm going to use royal blue just because it's such a beautiful color. Now for the table. Saving the cat for last. I'm not quite sure why, because it's kind of the most fun thing to do is the kitten. Such a pretty blue. Okay, now I'm going to work on this area, Ignore the cat for now. And I'll do these two sections when I'm doing this. Since that's a see-through glass, I want to make sure that I match what's happening out there in the yard. I'm living dangerously here because I'm working on adjacent colors, trying not to have them completely bleed together, but if it does, that's okay. It'll look kind of cool, and it has, and that's okay. Oh, I forgot these two sections right there. This is like painting a puzzle. I just keep forgetting sections. Forgetting those puzzle pieces, putting them together. I'm going to add some yellow dots over here. Which I will try to keep when I'm doing the background. If I don't, that's okay. That's what gouache is for. Okay, I'm going to work on this mountain or whatever that is back there. I've got some Perylene Violet mixed with a little of the Scarlet Lake. It's probably a little bit more orangey than, or the original is a little more orangey than what I'm doing, but that's okay. Oops, the kitty tail. Dab it up. I'll go ahead and do these trees over here. And when you look at the original, it looks like it's like a bunch of white dots over blue. So I'm not going to worry about doing that. I'm just going to get some cerulean and let's see what other colors. Looks like there could be some green in there. I'm just going to dab some paint on the paper. I'm going to do some cerulean dots, and then I'm going to come in with a very pale sap green and do sap green dots. Very watered down. I'm not worried about if it's touching the blue one. I'm just not worried at all. And since it's really kind of pale in the original painting, before it dries, after I do all these little dots, I'm going to dab it with a paper towel and lift up most of the pigment. And it'll kind of leave something that looks similar to what that is. It's good enough. So let's do this other one. I'm just dabbing a bunch of dots with cerulean. And then getting some watery sap green, pretty thin, and just dab, dot, dot, dot. And while it's still wet, I'm going to dab it up with a paper towel. That kind of gives me the effect that I was looking for, and not too dark. That's not the star of the show. This is the star of the show. The kitty cat and the fish. So cute. Okay, now I'm going to work on the tiny paintings. They're not tiny. They're 5 by 7, but they're smaller than this. Okay, I'm back to the larger painting and I'm ready to paint the green grass here. So I'm just using sap green. And trying to go around these shapes down here. If I go too far on them, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The colors are just so bright and happy in this painting. How could you look at this painting and not smile? I would love to see this one in person. So I'm not even sure where it is. I'll have to research that. Now to try to go around all these yellow circles, which now look green now that they're by this green paint. That's okay. Remember, this part here is not the star of the show. It's the kitten and the red fish. This really makes that tree pop out. This little section looks like it's got some green and then it goes to blue. So I'm just going to kind of drop it in and let it do what it wants to do. Okay. That's looking so pretty. It's so bold. I love it. Okay, back to the smaller paintings. We're on the home stretch here. We just have to do the cat and then come back and with either a pen or paint, do some stronger outlines in certain areas to get it to where it needs to be. So for the cat is obviously yellow, and what I'm going to do for the cat is I've got some lemon yellow here, and I'm going to paint it in lemon yellow, and while it's still wet, the areas that are kind of orangey looking, I'm going to come in with some Quin Gold and just drop it in and let it flow. And the areas where you see some of the green, I'm going to drop in some of the sap green and let it move however it wants to move. Okay, this is the lemon yellow here. Get some of this Quin Gold and just kind of drop it right down the center. Let it blend. I'm going to come in and make these lines bolder later on. Okay, let's go for some Quin Gold here, because this section of the cat is pretty golden-ish. You kind of have to do this fairly quickly because it needs to be damp to have this blend. Looks to be a little bit of sap green over here. Now on this side of the cat, that's where a lot of the green comes in. Dab some up. I went a little overboard there. Okay, now I'm going to get some of this sap green. Work on his head here. I've got a cat on the floor who is just dying to jump in my lap. Kind of ironic, I'm painting a cat and I have a cat that wants to be up here. So I'm trying to go pretty quickly. Before she can no longer resist the urge to get up here. Okay, this has some of the green by the ear and the nose and under the eyes. And then on the other side, the other ear, we've got some Quin Gold going on here. Got some coming here. Green here. Oh, this is so cute. Okay, we've got some Quin Gold, I think down here on the paw. Some up here. I'm gonna have to stop fiddling, or I'm gonna have some explosions here on the paper. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna come back to it and see what else I need to do to the kitten. Okay, it's dry now. It's just so cute. That cat is just adorable. So in looking at the painting, I'm just sort of evaluating what I think I need to do. And I think this water here needs to be a little bit darker green. So I'm just going to do another layer of sap green for this jar. Aquarium, not aquarium, it's just a clear glass jar. I've got a damp brush now. I'm going to kind of take some of that paint upwards. Kind of painting on the outside here, and then using a damp brush to bring it in some. Just kind of encouraging it to move. Add a little bit around here. I'm just looking at the reference photo and seeing where I think it needs a little bit more green. Take a damp brush and kind of smooth that out there. Smooth that out. Okay, just kind of take a look at this. I think once this dries, I am going to be ready to come back with either an ink pen or Payne's Gray, neutral tint, something to do a bolder outline. But before I go, I need to add another layer onto that. The braces for the chair are not very dark, so I'm just going to go over it again. Okay, now to work on the small kittens. Okay, I think I'm finished with the painting part of it. So now I've got a Pigma BB. I don't know what that stands for, but you can write a pretty fine line with this, and then you can also bear down and make a very bold line. So I'm just going to look at the reference painting here and then add some more bold lines where I think it needs it, which is a lot of places. You could use a paintbrush and some dark pigment, dark paint, whatever you would like to use. See how that really is topping this off. Making a bolder line here at the bottom. That's for the shadow there, anchoring it to the table. And the fish just have a couple of spots that I think need a little accent there. Dot the eye, make it stand out just a little bit more. Let's see. I'm going to do a few dark marks over here, darker, bolder lines, not many. And these are really bold here. bottom of this table, this section here, needs to be more pronounced. It needs a really bold line here to show the edge of that table. I think that did it. Okay, let's take a look at this. Kind of evaluate it, see if there's anything else I need to do. I'm going to step away from this one, work on the smaller ones, and I'll come back to this and see if there's anything I think I need to do. This was such a fun thing to paint. I just really love Matisse. I love the cat with the red fish. It's just so cute. Of course, it's never done until you add a matte. I mean, look how bright and cheerful that is. I just love the colors. They're so pretty. And I really had fun adding these 4 additional cats to this painting project. We've got Cucumber here. She loves art supplies. We've got Milkshake, that's my husband's cat. She likes tuna, and she would probably be too lazy in the wild to catch her own fish. She would expect someone to bring her a can of tuna. And then we've got Fluffy, who is my husband's cat also, and she likes green yarn. She carries it everywhere around the house. And then we've got Swamp Kitten, who is a kitten that we found in the swamp, and I fed him throughout the winter months. We finally were able to trap him, and he's looking for a home, and he got a home. He's got a very nice home. This was just so much fun. I hope you do these and add your own personality to the cats. It's just such a bright and cheerful, fun thing to paint. And thank you for subscribing to my Patreon. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it and you see value in it. Thank you.